stoked is exactly how I feel about Sepultura re-recording the Schizophrenia record. It's coming out on June 21st, just a couple months away, and I can't remember the last time I was this excited for a new album from one of my favorite bands, and I can't wait to purchase it the moment it's available. And I know I just refer to them as Sepultura when it's actually Cavalera, Max and Igor Cavalera, their kind of whatever new project, playing and re-recording old Sepultura songs and everything. But let's face it, I mean, the Cavalera brothers are Sepultura. Granted, everything I'm going to say in this video is totally my opinion. You can agree or disagree, and that's totally fine, of course. But, you know, I thought of this example as a matter of fact. Check this out. Let's say Metallica were to have broken up after the Black Album, and then Kirk and Jason, or even Kirk and Robert, whatever, go on and they keep performing Metallica songs and have this long career with some other guys. And it's all good and everything like that. And then, but somewhere along the way, in that time period, James and Lars show up and start playing Metallica songs too. And they call it, I don't know, Hetfield. They're playing under the name Hetfield or something like that. Who are you really going to want to go see? Who are you going to want to listen to more? It's the voice of Metallica, James, you know, and obviously Lars is such a big part of it. To me, James and Lars are like Max and Igor. So anyways, I know it's Cavalera, but you know, there's so much going behind that whole story. They have to do what they have to do, but it would be kind of cool now that Sepultura, and I have a lot of respect for the Sepultura version 2.0, by the way, but you know, they're doing their last tour. It's coming to an end. Maybe Max and Igor are planning for that. Maybe they'll readopt the name Sepultura. I have no idea about any of that, but I'm super stoked about this. Yesterday, Cavalera Sepultura released a video for Escape to the Void. Here is the Schizophrenia record. Is that going to come into focus? There we go. Yes. So they did a video for Escape to the Void. When it first came up in my feed, I was like, whoa, I had no idea. And it was just like a static album cover to the music. So I just got to listen to the music first, and I thought it was so awesome. And then I like refreshed it or came back to it like 10 minutes later. I noticed it's like a live video of them playing with a couple new guys, or their touring band from Tilburg, the O13, awesome venue over there in Europe. And so anyways, I couldn't find just the static image one anymore, but this new cover's awesome. We'll talk about that in a little bit too. But man, it was exactly what I wanted. The production was sick. They kept it true to form, I think. It sounds just like the original, but just better, enhanced in some way. It's exactly what I was hoping for, because I'm sure a lot of you know they redid the Morbid Visions record, I don't know, a year or two ago, but I wasn't as stoked on that one because I wasn't really into that record, Morbid Visions. But I love Schizophrenia. I love every song on it. I think it's absolutely fantastic. But it did always kind of suffer just a little bit in terms of its production and just like kind of the maturity of it, just its sound compared to all the albums that came after, because, you know, Once Beneath the Remains hit, fantastic production. Really, the sound just was amazing on that. The songwriting was incredible. And then it just kept getting better and better. Arise, KSAD. Again, all this is my opinion, but it just kept stepping up in every department on every record. And I think that's something like kind of like a phenomenon that happens with a ton of especially metal bands. I'll rattle off, you know, some of my top 5 metal bands right now, where this example I'm about to say holds true. Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, Pantera, where the first record, its productions, and it's really all it has to do with the production and the vocals, greatly differs from album to album, and it keeps getting better or better, or evolving, I should say. You know, better is, you know, just an opinion, a relative term or whatever, but it keeps evolving. So, you know, if you played somebody Kill 'Em All, the way James's voice sounds on that and the production on that album versus the Black Album is totally different. Same with Killing Is My Business versus Countdown or Euthanasia, or Cowboys to Reinventing the Steel. You know what I'm saying? And so that's totally the same with Sepultura. And just conversely, I was thinking of this too. It's just kind of weird that there are some other bands where that doesn't happen with. Not really metal though. I couldn't think of any metal examples, but let's take like Guns N' Roses. What, hard rock band? Them, for example, like Appetite for Destruction, those songs could be, in my opinion, on Use Your Illusions too, and vice versa. It still sounds like the same Axl, it still sounds like the same production style, all that. Linkin Park, another example. You know, the Hybrid Theory material sounds just like the material on whatever their later albums were. You know, it didn't really like change a ton. Rage Against the Machine, that first one sounds like whatever, Battle for Los Angeles or whatever their later albums are. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like their debut albums kind of like sound the same as all their later albums. You know, there isn't really this huge evolution in sound like there is with metal bands. Even Chimera, you know, our earlier stuff sounds way different than our later stuff. And whether you like the material more or not, you know, at the beginning or later, that's, everybody's got their individual preferences on that. But Sepultura to me just kept evolving, and I kept liking the albums more and more up until Roots. You know, Roots isn't my favorite, but I still absolutely loved it. And then once the Cavalera brothers split from the band, I kind of got out of them. But just an interesting thing. So at any rate, when I heard they were redoing Morbid Visions a couple years ago, I was kind of like, oh, that's cool. And I could see them doing that, whatever, because the production wasn't the greatest. And I thought to myself, I hope they redo Schizophrenia. That'd be amazing. So this was a huge surprise for me yesterday when Escape to the Void came out. And again, I just thought it sounded awesome. I think they just really did a fantastic job, just still keeping the essence of the sound of those recordings. I can't wait to hear To the Wall, From the Past Comes the Storms, dude, The Abyss. There's so many great songs on here, and I just can't wait to hear them sung now. And Max even has this like weird like kind of delay on his voice in this new thing that just emulates like the verbs that they must have been using at the time. But to hear the guitar tones all sick now, the drums sound great. They even, see if anybody can agree with me on this, what I'm about to say here. There's something about the toms on Schizophrenia, the original recording, where anytime he's going like, I'll play an example here. There's like this, like high marimba type sound, almost like put over the toms. There's something weird at the toms where there's like this marimba or something, you know, like a xylophone over top, where you hear this high end and almost like a pitch to these toms that are going through. Do you hear that? You gotta really listen carefully. So I've thought this for years and years and years, and actually Monty Connor, the Roadrunner guru, A&R over there that signed Sepultura back when it was like Road Racer, I think, or something. The story is, I don't know if this is true or not, forgive me if it's not, but I heard that, maybe even told me, but I don't remember verbatim, that Monty signed Sepultura while he was still living at his parents' house, working out of the basement, getting Road Racer or Roadrunner, however the history of that goes, together, and he signed him out of his basement, and it was, you know, a big bump to his career, obviously, and there's Sepultura to be brought over to America like that. But at any rate, I asked him in person one time, I said, man, the Schizophrenia record, because he loves that record too. And I asked him, are there like some like overdubbed, like high like marimba type stuff or xylophone stuff over those toms? He's like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. So maybe it's just something weird to my ears, but chime in and tell me if you hear that too. It's something I've always noticed and thought was super unique. But again, just those songs, and they're kind of like, you know, just the beginning of the evolution of Sepultura's song. Obviously, Morbid Visions, I keep wanting to say Morbid Angel. Morbid Visions is even less mature than that, and they just keep building and building and building. In my opinion, there's absolutely no need to redo Beneath the Remains or anything after that, but to hear that they did Schizophrenia and Morbid Visions, super, super stoked on that. Again, I can't wait to hear the rest of the tunes and the new cover artwork. So again, here's the old cover artwork. And the new one here looks so sick. True to form, but just redone, and like, I don't know what style that's called. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is like watercolor, but that obviously that's not what it's called, but like, is that like mosaic or something like that? But it just looks great. And I've never studied this particular album's cover before, like the ones after it, because, you know, like starting with Beneath the Remains and then Arise and Chaos, especially Beneath the Remains and Arise, there's something about those album covers that's like intriguing to the eyes. There's little things to look for, little like things you're like, oh, what's that? Whether it's Stonehenge or just certain little cool things, where this one was just kind of like cut and dry, and I never really paid much attention to it. But now seeing it like this, I'm like, dude, that is just menacing. Those eyes just look terrifying. And that dude, I mean, look at the expression on his face. He's obviously going through some shit, experiencing something, and it really sums up what I guess I would think schizophrenia would feel like. Something like that. Trapped in, you know, whether you're in a straitjacket or not, you're trapped in your own mind. And isn't that what schizophrenia is? Like where you have like some voice talking to you or something? I don't know, forgive me for not knowing exactly, but this is a perfect cover for that, you know? So anyways, really cool on that. I feel like I've been talking about Sepultura a lot lately, because I recently got this Sepultura Quadra Andreas Kisser signature series Jackson. This thing is so badass, and it kind of like, when I saw this came out and I knew I wanted to get one, it kind of like sparked this whole Sepultura thing for me, and that I've been listening to him a ton lately, doing a couple videos on him, even some shorts, like Under Siege recently, but that got blocked in a few areas, and so now like the music doesn't sync up with it. Anyways, this was just great news to hear this, and I'm so happy that the guys are doing it. I'm definitely gonna come see them, because they're just touring maniacs. Max is insane. The dude just never stops. How many bands does he have? And he's constantly on the road and stuff. Just an absolute warrior. I had the pleasure of meeting him one time. He was super nice. And I'm hoping that they're gonna bring this tour through Cleveland, because I'll definitely check it out. I'd love to hear, again, I don't want them to re-record Beneath the Remains, but I'd love to hear them like play Beneath the Remains all the way through. Whether they've done that or not, I personally didn't see it, but I'm just stoked for Cavalera, Sepultura, however they're gonna do it. They'll probably just continue with Cavalera, but I mean, hey, what would stop them now from reuniting with Paulo and Andreas? Because, you know, except for the massive feud, internal feud that they have going on that nobody really knows the full extent of except for them. But, you know, now that Sepultura is coming to an end and these guys are doing this, it obviously wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility to say that could happen. And I mean, for them, it would obviously be a huge money-making opportunity. The people that would want to see the original lineup together and everything. But hey, I understand better than most that bands have their internal struggles, and sometimes, no matter what someone offers you, you know, sometimes you just can't make it happen for one reason or another. I hope that's not the case here. I'd love to see them reunite. I'd love just whatever they got coming. I'm stoked for this release. Again, that was June 21st, and I'm gonna be first in line to grab it, as if that's a thing anymore. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you love Sepultura like I do, leave a comment below, hit that like button. Please subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Thank you if you already are subscribed. Thank you for watching, especially if you made it this far. Cheers, I'll see you on the next one.